There we go. Uh, right, it's a personal diary, really, just to fucking set some things down, really. It's all very confusing. So I'm going to get right into it. This has been the most fucking bizarre period of my life ever. I can't seriously put the way that the police have conducted themselves towards me purely down to the strength of my criminal record, because I think there's probably a couple of two, maybe three assaults from nothing above. I don't even know if I've had an actual bodily harm. I'm not sure I have. I think it's just a common assault, but I may have a actual bodily harm from many years ago, just after I left the army. I can't remember if that was common assault or whatever. I have a lot of. I've had two massive charges levelled against me that seem to just, I don't know, have significantly blotted my my copybook, or whatever it's called, blotting book. When I left my first wife, Michelle, who I married because she threatened to commit suicide, she phoned up the guard room when me and her split up. I split up when I came back from Kenya because I wasn't, we'd been together, I think, 2 years or so. But I wasn't, God, I wasn't boyfriend material. I was barely soldier material, really. I was barely adult material. I was fucking, rocks. I was chaos material. I was fucked up. As simple as that. I've got away with it for a long time, and I'm not making excuses. Please bear in mind, I know that I've been punished for everything I've said this before. I look back, and Michelle in particular. What the hell? I mean, I don't know. It had all the ingredients. I mean, I was on the rebound from Shelley. I always loved Shelley, and I always will. Shelley was my girl. Well, no, she wasn't. She's the girl of the guy she's ends up with or chosen. But I did adore her, but I just didn't know how to, and the family didn't like me. I don't blame them. It was like having a real bad apple in the barrel, and I regret everything about having that relationship with Shelley for everybody but me. Between her and, unbeknownst to them, her family, and Rise Green School and the staff, I think things could have been a hell of a lot worse for me. Because I think even before I left school, first of all, I'd already had an education or re-education in things like race and culture and the Irish and, colour and all this sort of thing, which was from a very right wing perspective, or military stroke right wing, mid 70s. The days when I think it was rumoured that the army were basically formulating a plan to seize power, if you will. I remember being told as a kid, I think it was sort of 76 or something like that, 75, or the Winter of Discontent or something, and they were going to seize. It was when the Labour were in power, and the army were thinking about seizing Parliament and declaring seizing power from the Labour government. And I believe it was something like the Guards or the Household Cavalry that kiboshed the idea, because they said, well, our allegiance is to the Queen and not to any government, which, whether it was a blessing that occurred, or is remains, will never be known. But whether it's true, I don't know. What do you reckon, Rox? So the fact of the matter is whether whether anybody actually believes it or not, because I've got no credibility. I probably had no credibility before the criminal record. I am weird. I think weirdly. I think too much. I'm way more sensitive than I look, which is a hindrance. It's almost I can't use an analogy. I can't think of one that suits. It's like being judged as a, I don't know. I don't know. It's like you're actually negotiating life in a wheelchair with a big anvil on your back, metaphorically speaking. It's not a pity thing. It's not a self-pity thing. I'm trying to articulate how it is to go through life looking like this, whatever this is. I mean, it obviously does. I don't know. Maybe it's just my expression, or maybe it's the harshness of my features. I mean, at times it's been a curse and a blessing. I mean, if I was probably less stark looking, I guess potentially I probably would have been, had more issues. Paradoxically, I do think that at this time of life, if I'd been able to conduct myself in the way I'd like to at this time of life, then I wouldn't be getting in any altercations or situations. I don't drink in pubs, even when I was drinking heavily. So hang on, I've done come here, come on, because I don't get the chance to brush you much. You're right. You need a trim as well, which we'll have to do tomorrow. That'll go on the list. My life has been dismantled. Bottom line. Sorry. Back to my ex-wife. So Michelle, when I announced that, I think it was the first time that I went back to her and wanted to. No, it wasn't. It was the initial when we were married and we had Daniel, and it was just. It was a shotgun wedding. I was uncomfortable getting married. I know I shouldn't. She did threaten to commit suicide. She phoned me in the guard room a couple of days after we came back from a little trip around Cornwall and stayed in B&B. I told her, it's not for me. It's not for me, Michelle. I want to try and concentrate on the army. It's the last bite of the cherry for me, really, because the Marines were such a disappointment. Again, finding out years later that I mean, I was getting in trouble, but when I look back and think about it, the up until a certain point, being associated with the Paras was only an issue for Brian, really. Potentially for Carl. I think David never really he did afterwards when he used to give me ribbing when he was drunk and you Marine this, Marine that, despite the fact that I didn't actually become a Marine. I did the commando training, but didn't become a Marine. Did I, Brian? I mean, to have an older brother who's he was a sergeant or a colour sergeant in one para. Apparently, it was shortly after the Falklands. It was the Falklands that alerted me to the Marines. I didn't really know a lot about them. It's funny, I've had a Marines. Ow, get off! Get off my foot, you twat. Just stay there, let me move my foot. Come here. That's it. It hurts, the foot hurts. Lie down. Come here. Lie down, just lie down. Just chill. The foot hurts, okay? If you lay on it, it hurts, all right? So I've gone over this in my head loads of times. It's when I think about it, I mean, it feels like I have to start all these explanations with, what's it, the caveat, I know I'm not blameless. Well, do you know what? For the majority of my adult life, I've tried. I really have tried to be decent. I've failed. I know that. eventually when pushed or when provoked or when overthinking things or when, I don't know, when you rely on your own thought processes and when you rely on your own judgment all the time, and when you do, I don't know, when you're in a situation where, say, two marriages where you think, well, okay, for whatever reason, I'm in a union with this person to an extent, one very, very unwillingly. I just knew that the level of domesticity, bloody hell, that I was going to be challenging, and it was a challenge for me. It was not. I was just not accustomed to all of it. It was just fucking brand new. I just think that went, understandably, it went straight over Michelle's head and her mother, or my mother-in-law. Um, Her dad was, I don't know, yeah, I don't know, I don't know. Just I kind women do, you know, embellish the truth or fucking do some extreme things, and I'm sure men do. And I could be accused of no, not a similar thing, but everything went downhill after Shelley. I was never in a million years going to meet a girl who was so devoted, and she was, but I didn't see it. I was just obsessed with her, because I was besotted by her. I don't know why. I don't mean that she wasn't pretty, but I mean that because there's just something that drew me to her. I just felt that she needed protected. She just, I don't know. But again, if that was the intention, the outcome was fucking probably the parallel, the exact opposite. And that's another regret I have in life. That I wish I could have, that relationship could have ended for both of us with, both of us in a better place. But I'm sure that Shelley just went in her direction, just thinking, Christ, at least I know what I don't want. I don't blame her. Lise was a different kettle of fish. I think I'd given up in some ways thinking about having a meaningful emotional relationship because it was always too complicated for me. The nearest I got, I would say, was Linda. She was a really easygoing girlfriend, and I found fault with her. She wasn't as overtly sexual as Lisa was. Lisa was very in your face sexual, lots of makeup and whatever, very stereotypically white working class, bloody weird van man bird, like the hairdresser, no offence to hairdressers, the beautician, and you know, girls called Cindy who drive pink minis or whatever, I don't know, just girly girls, who wear like slap on loads of makeup. I thought, well, if I stick with that, they're obviously pretty. No offence, if you do wear lots of makeup, I'm sure that a lot of people wear it because it's some form of security or whatever. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying I decided that generalisation of type was what a woman I needed to be with if I was going to want some company, because I didn't think the sexual appetite was a risk, but the emotional one was, because I got on with a lot of girlfriends. There's some I really miss to this day. Because they were good people, not for any other nefarious reasons. But as soon as kids reared their head, I mean, and some of them are great. I went out with girls, a lot of women who had kids, and it was me that couldn't understand them. It wasn't the kids. Well, with the exception of one woman, I won't name her, but both, they weren't kids. They were both probably what, I don't know, three. Well, I mean, I probably more or less looked after myself to all intents and purposes from the age of about 10, I think. cooking wise and eating wise and everything else wise, ducking and diving wise. Ducking and diving was from year zero. It was for Carl and David and Brian, but I think David and Brian had it worse than me initially, their early years. I think my early years were painful or damaging because of not what I experienced. I think it's what I saw and heard. I think that's where something happened. It clicked a switch or something. I don't know, because I look back and try and understand that. I don't pat myself on the back and think, well, I was so convinced or so surprised at how I thought I'd come through okay. I thought, because I was measuring myself by not by a standard yardstick. I mean, I wasn't. It was pretty early on in my adult life that I had to be realistic and know that really I was never going to be able to steer a family and be devoted to a wife and pin my colours to that mast. Not because I'm fucking in demand and quite the opposite, because deep down, why would I inflict me on somebody? Then I trying to work me out. I had no clue. I had no clue, and I'm sure in ways it was the same for David and Brian. In their ways, but Brian suffered because of his age, because he was oldest, the oldest of us boys, and has had to emulate. The only mentor he had really that he took seriously was the old man. So it was just more the same, really. Not quite as ferocious, a bit more controlled. Apparently, was certainly towards me. I remember getting a good spanking off him once, being rude to one of Mum's suitors, or just told me to shut up because he was. I don't know. I was in my own little bubble. I've always been in my own little bubble. And I was watching some kiddie thing when I got home from school. I used to have a lemon curd sandwich and I watched the Clangers or whatever it was, and get ready for bed, depending if Mum was going to bingo or not going to bingo or what we were doing. I can't actually remember sort of everybody sitting around the telly watching something. I remember watching Jason the Argonauts out at Jill Mansfield's flat, the big high-rise stuff where the police station and old shows, and the lifts used to smell of piss all the time. It used to break down. And watching Jason the Argonauts, it blew me away. I've always been stuck with that image of the gods up there watching you and moving you about like your chess pieces. I don't know what it is that's just for the record that it's easy. I mean, look, I suppose I'm trying to take culpability. I accepted what Lisa was in the same way I felt she accepted what I was. If I'm honest, it seemed a fair trade-off. I would ultimately pay at least the lion's share of everything, which I was all right with. I was going to have to do that anyway. The only thing was there was a bit of extra food, booze. I didn't actually directly buy it. Well, I did buy her fags now and again. She earned money most of the time, but I never saw it. I think she bought about 3 takeaways in the 20 years off and on we were together. What was hers, and what was mine was ours. Which, again, I fucking quote. I just heard this song by the Eagles called "Lying Eyes." I've really got into the Eagles over the last few years, and there's a line in it where he says that every form of refuge has its price, and so it was. I'm sure for for Lisa as well. I mean, maybe at some point, I don't know with Lisa. I thought Lisa was quite hard. She was not your stereotypical family girl. I mean, the more I knew her and the more I lived with her, particularly when we was married, we used to joke about her looking like Paul Calf, Pauline Calf, that Steve Coogan character, or what's the other one? Oh God, the guy died. Really nice bloke who used to do the Batsy Dog Zone thing. Oh, Lily Savage, that was it. Because she used to look, we used to laugh that she used to model herself on Lily Savage, very brash and very blonde and Egyptian eyeliner all the way up, and which I found attractive. And if I couldn't have all the other things in life, then I was red blooded or whatever, as most lads at, I don't know, what was I met at 23 or something, 24. I'd given up on emotional attachment. It was either fucked up or it was too painful, or just, I don't know, I couldn't offend, or I don't know. The ones that were the worst ones were the ones that it's usually a woman's traits, really. They like it, women like a wrong one, I suppose, which I guess I would have qualified for. I was never a thug or a gang member or a criminal by choice, or a career criminal, or do burglaries or rob, or I did shoplift a couple of clothes when I was fucking skint. That's way before I joined up and that, but fucking hell, I absolutely had fuck all. Me at school I used to wear the old man's clothes. Fucking hell. I mean, imagine that. You're all you're supposed to be fashion conscious. I think I got given a Harrington jacket off David, a second-hand one, which was fucking nice. It was blue, but it stood out, I suppose. Rather than that, I used to wear fucking corduroy grey fucking jacket of the old man's. Fucking hell. But I didn't used to stress about it. Fucking, that's what you have to wear. That's what you have to wear. I've always been a bit loony anyway. In my own little world. I think the easiest thing of the easiest thing about working this out and making it simple for me, really, regardless of what's happened. The way Mum died and the way we were raised separately. David and Carl probably had more to do with each other than any of the other brothers at that time. For the sort of 10 years after Mum died. But as David and Carl became members of the Parachute Regiment, TA, and then permanent, actual army, if you will, they had that bond, that thing that united them. And I understand that, they want to belong to something. We all do. But, I didn't. I went against that. And again, not because I'm special. I just think differently. I didn't think the same as they did. And by the time I've met Ray Caviero, who was a lodger at our house when my dad was a campaign. He was either he wasn't a candidate. He was campaigning for a National Front candidate in an area. He used to stick National Front stickers all over the place. If you ever went out with him, fucking hell. I mean, got a lift with him or walked somewhere in town with him. God, I mean, Carl used to do these cartoons of West Indians that he saw in London, and I know that him and David was never showed any interest in racism. I don't think he ever, to be honest. Carl did for a while when he was very young, 13, 14, whatever, up to maybe the age of, I suppose, when he was at art college. And then he didn't, I don't think he had many black mates, but I don't put him as a racist. I don't think he used to notice people's colour, he just hated everybody. But you know, Ray was a West Indian. He was an ex-RAF, and he spoke very, very West Indian, but with an American accent for some reason, which was never. But he was Jamaican, and he had a pretty brutal upbringing at the hands of his mum. He was quite the disciplinarian. But he was the first person of non-white that I really seriously interacted with or spoke to. And I was, what was I don't know, 13, 12. And it had a massive impression on me. And Marge, his wife, was white, which was an even stranger thing with the old man. Sort of, it was a staff house the old man had, and there was 3 bedrooms, this big place, lovely cottage that came with the job he had on this beautiful old country estate. There was a borstal. I've got an ear infection now as well. Just to add to the foot infection and the back issue, which is worrying me now, because when I got my nose broken for, what was it? I was going to attack somebody on my own drive with a selfie stick, so I got my nose broken. I was very pissed. It did wake me up for a while. It's just a lull before the storm. How do you challenge a council who approve their own? No, don't talk about that. Yeah, I know you're supposed to. What are you talking about? Lisa. Oh yeah, Lisa. So, right, witnesses. Okay, so Brian and Carol in Aldershot will know that Lisa told them not to let the police come and see me when I escaped from hospital, when I woke up. Sort of semi-comatose. How the fuck I walked home, I don't know why. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I woke up or what woke me up, or because when I woke up I was fucking drowsy. It really felt like I should not be awake. I shouldn't be feeling like this and be awake. And I knew it was funny, because if I'd have been in a room, woken up in a room where, like a ward, I would have started talking to somebody and forgot where I was, but because I was on my own, maybe, I don't know, maybe suspicious. Fucking hell, I don't know. I obviously overdosed on whatever she gave me. I did take some paracetamol, but I was so desperate to say, my life was so fucking miserable. It was so empty. I knew when she came back I wanted company. And then was when I came back from Abu Dhabi. That was it. Yeah, I came back from Abu Dhabi, did a couple of jobs, and then we were talking. As usual, she was not doing well. She was in the shit. Has she gone to Ibiza again, or wherever she goes? Oh, fuck it, Corfu. That's it, Corfu. She used to work summers in Corfu, and I think she got pregnant by some chef. Oh, yeah. I never paid any attention. But she, she likes a good time. But, ow, who am I to fault? Fucking hell. When we last split up, it was because of her drinking. Again, that was the last 3 times we've split up, it's because of her drinking, not mine. What's usually happened is when I've had periods alone, I've had a lot of time as a single bloke, just even not looking for dating, and maybe going out and meeting girls, but he'd not even bothering phone numbers and that, just not really asked. But drinking a lot at home and just thinking about things as we do, or listening to music or whatever, or knocking one out, or whatever you want to do. But this is the first. When I was with Michelle, that was my first problems with drinking, I think, in the army. If I'd have had people close to me when I was younger, because when I was really young, like a teenager or early 20s or before the Marine, I did drink get into trouble being drunk a couple of times in the Marines, but only because I was quite volatile anyway. I came off worse more often than I didn't in the Marines. It taught me a lot about myself. You know, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was, and I was a lot tougher in other ways. It's a strange one, that sort of training. It teaches you a lot about yourself, which really puts you in good stead. If you take the right things from it, you're honest about yourself. But I don't know, it was the destiny of I don't think, and all credit to the Marines, I was fucking impressed. But it still wouldn't negate the fact that under certain conditions you would still, if you were really sending blokes into a shit pit that they're not got much chance of coming out of, and you don't expect much finesse, and you just want heads to crack and then to, fucking kill a few more of them before they fucking all get wiped out. You're probably more likely, certainly in the early 70s and that, you'd be more likely to send in the Paras than the Marines, because the Marines are a different kettle of fish. They're more, then, and certainly until recently, they were sort of more thinking, um, you know, they've got more strings to their bow, like, the amphibious capability that they do they don't do P company anymore, but they used to do P company and then do parachute training and get their wings so they're airborne, or but not as a matter of course. It depends if they're MLs, mountain leaders, or whatever. Anyway, going to the Marines was good because, yeah, disappointing though it worked, though it was. I mean, if I'd have been armed with the knowledge of the full facts of why I suddenly went from, yes, a bloke with an injury that was quite serious that I shouldn't have gone back into training so early with. But when I think about that guy fucking coming down the bottom field and screaming blue murder at me for fucking what seemed like minutes, but it was probably only about 20 seconds. He fucking hated me with aplomb. And when I remember what he said and the tone of what he said and the manner of what he said, it was all as if it was words put into his mouth by somebody that had come from me. If you want to do it, you want to do this, you can fucking. Who the fuck is this bloke? Obviously, I was in commander training, so these are instructors, so you keep your fucking mouth shut. But he's given me a proper hair drying job. Who the fuck is this bloke? I think it was a W02 or something. In the PT wing. And I had no clue that this was a result of him having had a phone call from my parachute regiment oldest brother. Apparently, he later told me, years later, he talks differently, he's got a different accent from me. We were raised separately anyway. But, I just phoned up to see how you were getting on. You could have asked me. But he phoned up, apparently, he told me years later, he had a beer, that he phoned up and had, under the pretext of seeing how I was getting on, spoke to this random senior fucking PTI wing bloke, an old salt of a Marine, and fucking giving the call had descended into a fucking Paras are better than the Marines. Marines are a bunch of wankers, and my younger brother thinks so. He thinks it's a waste of time. I think that's what the context of it was, because I was still getting encouragement to complete the training. I've been back trooped because of the injury. And my new troop was challenging because, back troopers, if you're injured, well, it doesn't matter. You get a hard time. You've got to settle in. All the guys know each other much better. You get a bond when you first join that you never really truly get again to that depth. You make a couple of friends, and they're just buds for life. You'll pick up a few more when you're in service. If certain people click with you or whatever. I was always, I don't know, I was always a loner, really. I always felt that. Not because I chose to be, it just felt more comfortable. I felt more comfortable not putting on a fucking brave face or a confident face or a fucking hell. I would like to fucking punch him in the face. I regret so much about what I've done, but I don't. It sounds like you get out of jail. Sorry, let me get back to Lisa. Yeah, the last time we split up, I tried and tried and tried everything. I don't think I'd made any statements to her about, could get help and I'll pay for it. I don't think it was that, but just please, that was just drink a bit later or drink with me, or I couldn't leave her at home. She would go out and work stews occasionally. It was very occasionally. She was always fucking skint. Always didn't matter that I genuinely paid for everything because it was my flat anyway, so I'd be paying for it. And then extra food, heating, or whatever was minimal. I had company. I wanted company. I wanted a woman, and the same urges as any other man, despite my emotional shortcomings. And she was available and, well, I suppose submissive insofar as she should do what I wanted to do. Whatever I wanted to do was fine. Her only activity was to just dress up and slap a load of makeup on, which sounds very superficial, but maybe, that's, I'm not criticising her for that. We're all what we are. I'm not saying about her morals and that's not my judgment, but I did choose that, and I would say happy with that. Of course, I would love to have a lovely wife and a linen dress, and that just adores me for what I am or whatever. But I just never believed, and rightly so, that was ever going to happen. I don't know many people that are happily married, to be honest. We put up with each other, and I don't want to put up with it. I put up with fucking childhood. I've got everything I want now. I know I should have settled for this ages ago, but I do love this house. I love the place. The area's gone downhill, even the time I've been here. And you can't blame everything on me because I haven't been here a lot. I've been out the back in the garden where I don't feel safe. Don't feel safe in any part of this place. But unless fucking if someone broke in and I did anything, I'd be fucked. The police would fucking hammer me. I know that. But anyway, Lisa and I split up, and I met an old army friend. Well, it wasn't a friend really. He was a bit of a dick in the army, says me. He used to walk about with his arms extended out as if he was carrying basketballs. He used to claim to be a boxer. Didn't know if he was or not, but he was a bit of a dick sometimes. But we all are. And I bumped into him, and I was surprised to see him because I bumped into him in an area that I was familiar with, but I was surprised to see him because he was from a much further away part of the country, and I expected him to settle there when he came out of the army. Anyway, nice to see an old mate, and as I say, because I call him old mate, an old associate, because I'm strange, I do keep in touch with people for years afterwards, not every day, but I don't get attached to people. Life is just meant I can't accommodate that, really. I don't know, because I've always moved. And I know I'm going to lose friends, and I'll start a new school. That stays with you. Go to a new school, you make some buddies, you find some people you like, you get along with them, and we're moving again. Oh, for fuck's sake, off you go to the next. I just think, well, what's the point? You've got to be self-sufficient. It's not a value. It's not a commendable thing. It's not a thing of choice. It's the best means of surviving or enduring that type of life. And I'm sure it's the same for a lot of kids who have disrupting circumstances at home. I'm no fucking different. I just done a lot of different things. I miss my brothers. And I talk about, we're at odds now. I pined for them. They were what I knew. No, I lost them. They didn't lose me. I think I was an afterthought anyway. And as a little brother, you're more of an annoyance than a fucking asset, aren't you? What do you reckon, Roxy? So I went around Europe with this guy's girlfriend eventually. I did like her. She didn't drink. She was very pretty. Too tall for me. A lot of women are because I'm only 5'9", and once they wear heels, I look like Bernie Eccleston. He doesn't wear heels, nor do I. I mean, he's shorter than most of the women he goes out with. I think he's 5'6" or something, but I'm 5'9", so. Anyway, Elaine, the girl was everything. It was a diametric opposite of Lisa. She didn't drink to any degree. She was virtually teetotal. I don't think she smoked when I met her. I did smoke cigarettes, but I didn't drink. I'd given up drinking, and that lasted about, I think about a year into our relationship. Was it a year? No, probably less. But once we moved to um, down to Devon from Reading, and I sold my flat, and we lived in one of her houses. She had two together. One rented out to a lovely couple of vets, and one that we lived in with the girls' grown children. One of each, a boy and a girl. One 18, one 19, or thereabouts when we met. Maybe a bit younger. I never got on with the son. I thought I tried in my blundering way. I mean, I went out, and was really pleased to go out for a drink with him one night, or for him to come for a drink with me. I still wasn't a great drinker in them days, but then at that time, towards the end of the relationship, it became a problem, and it was for a while afterwards. Even when I walked out and left, it was untenable for her point of view as well. I couldn't, the girl was. I mean, she was a lovely girl. I did want to get on with her, but God, she didn't realise what trouble she was causing. The girl had a pretty shit upbringing. I always, it breaks my heart. Anyway, I was having to do the guard dog thing. I was like, she was dropping knickers left, right, and centre, and you get a different random bloke coming out of the fucking bathroom every Sunday morning. Who are you? I'm with Charlie. What, you as well? Who was it last week? Not fucking hell. The place was a small town, and I said to the girl, the mother, look, it's a small town, you don't lose a reputation like that overnight. You can lose it overnight, of course. She's just having fun. But when, which is fair, but when you've got a geezer parked outside in a souped-up car stalking her, and she's shitting herself to go out, and then you're supposed to go out and drive him up the road and have a chase with him and frighten him off, I don't want that. But I feel obligated. That's what I meant. I would never consider phoning the police. Not 1,000 years. My experience of them, even before, was just no way. No way. I don't know what it is. I don't. If it is my demeanour, I mean, the police don't like confident blokes, and they particularly don't like confident blokes who are not fucking 6'7". It's easy fodder, but I don't like being subjugated. If they treat me, just polite, I will, I'll do whatever I'm obligated to do. I've no problem with that for doing their job. But fucking the way they speak to people, Jesus Christ, and they lie. So I covered that in other videos. I mean, Christ, you have to be. Well, anyway, Lisa was really fucking pissed off that I went around Europe with this girl in a camper van. It's fair to say she paid for the camper van. She was very high earner, but and we sort of more or less paid 50-50 while travelling around, and I did all the driving, which I was happy to do that. But I wasn't. Like me, she'd been raised in difficult circumstances, and she was sexually abused as a girl repeatedly. And that's it for me. It's like, you know, I'm like one of them women who falls for a sub story. I don't mean I'm like a woman, but I am a woman. I mean, I know what you get, women who just think they can mend people's lives. I'm not a saint, I know that. I'm not, I'd love to be a good person. I try to be, but it's fucking hard to try now. Lisa was livid that I went round Europe. She did mention it quite a lot. I didn't really twig on. Maybe I didn't listen. That's a big fault of men. She was fucking apoplectic. I didn't realise. If she'd known it wasn't really a great time we had, and all the good times we had, we probably had separately. Stuff I saw, I don't mean dodgy stuff. I mean, just going out on a bike. She's just like reading, and she was more or less in sulk mode most of the time, really. I'm guessing living in close proximity to me wouldn't help. And then, of course, she got written out of a big proportion of her will. And I just think she fucking hated me so much that she married me because obviously divorcing me would up her income in retirement. Or she doesn't like working. She's not very ambitious. She never was. Just does jobs, filling jobs. Well, summer season in Ibiza or Corfu is obviously a young person's thing. Great. She was doing it. She was 40, I think. Yeah, it would have been. Her sister died under very dubious circumstances, given all this. Became an alcoholic during her time in Skye when she went up to Skye with Alex, the guy I went through training in the Marines with. He was a good lad. He was. He had his faults, I'm sure, but I found him a good lad. Straightforward, no airs and graces, not intoxicated by urban life like a lot of us were, just young men. Just a good guy with all the normal human faults. But my ex-wife, we split up all the time. Usually we would be together for just less than around 2 to 3 years, and they would split up for 2 to 3 years. And I would initially I would just go, well, not I would survive, but I'd just be I'd be crestfallen. I don't know, just what is it about me? A woman I wants what I can't be, and if I don't try and be that, and I'm just I'll just pay for everything, and we'll have sex, and you can do what you want, and go to work, and don't pay any bills, but you'll have company as well because you're not really an emotional type, and I'm not an emotional type, or I can't risk it. And I know with you, I'll get shafted at some point a bit, or walks out on the left, or left in the hour of need. But at least I know I'm getting. I was in Andover. I remember this lad called Chris. I didn't know him well. He was a carpenter, I think, or chippy by trade, a joiner of some, whatever. Met him several times in the gym. Gang of us used to train in the leisure centre at Andover. I was a fitness instructor there for a while. I was really fit in them days, really fit. The injury I nursed, I didn't do anything. I did do football. Ow, which is a contact thing. And then he never went. I played about 5-6 games. I wasn't very good, but I enjoyed the camaraderie. But again, I moved and it all went pear shaped. And every time I get a foot on the ladder of society as a human being and joining in, I'll move or something comes up. Carl, my brother, always hated me. I always knew that. Or I knew he disliked me or resented me or I don't know what. Despised me or just didn't respect me. David didn't respect me. Brian, respect is not something you get, really. And if they did ever announce to each other they respected each other, then they would say other things. I'm not going to list the things or the positions into which I was put in, and the way in which my naivety and wish to be, I don't know, deserving member of a family meant that I was taking the piss out of a lot. I was trying to think, what did I do with them? I must have done stuff. I did. I remember the only things I can put against Brian or that I did against Brian was I fucked about. I watched a film about picking a car lock and I tried it with a bit of wire and it stuck in his lock on his camper van and he was pissed off. So that's bad. And that's it. I can't think of anything else. He did come down and support me. I went to court. But again, I do thank him for that. That was decent of him. But he was, I think, going somewhere else anyway. But he was seeing a mate. But he did come down and support me. I did appreciate that. But paradoxically, he was supporting me against Carl in this campaign. That him and Lisa were working in unison on. I mean, it is, yes, I know it's fucking unbelievable, but trust me, I can give you names of people who can validate the things that I say. I mean, what fucking wife of a husband, even a dodgy marriage, I get sectioned because I'm on the motorway, I am distressed, I am tired, I'm not under the influence of anything, but I'm just completely fucking fucked over mentally. I'm just overwhelmed. I bought a house I shouldn't have bought. I've got a wife who I think is doing some stuff behind. At that time, I just thought she's fucking up to something else. There's something going on here. And a range of things happened immediately. I moved in here. The geezer almost crashed his car into the front of the house after driving up the fucking slope and across the drive, and he just stopped about fucking a foot from the front bedroom wall. This way, come this way. And, oh Christ, what is it? What's the big deal, Roxy? Just calm down. And there you go. It was open all the time, you muppet. Right out. Oh, right, I'm going to close for now, so you can head down. An engineer visit tomorrow. That's Nat Westy survey fucking Clayton, which is the big elephant in the room that going underneath. I had the Mum Memorial thing, which I've been fighting for 20 odd years, and I've lost that. The military going to own that memorial forevermore now. It will just be another fucking salute to the military in Aldershot. Six civilians died. A gardener, and 5 female catering staff, just cleaning tables and pouring tea and dishing up food, get fucking blown, get vaporised in a car bomb. First time in the UK, and it never fucking happened. And now, despite everything that's right, proper, decent, and fucking showing some kind of magnanimity and humanity, whatever the memorial will end up being will just be another military memorial, which will eventually be just covered with parachute regiment benches around the guard. You know, another testament to an army regiment. Why do we commemorate the folly of military fucking resolution to every fucking problem that is man-made, created, designed to create war or conflict or discord, which is not, under any circumstances, the natural human position. You watch anybody when someone falls over, yeah, okay, yeah, on TV they'll fucking laugh or whatever else, but no, you won't. You go over and help them up. You all right? Jesus, what happened, dude? 99 out of 100 people would do that. You know, yes, a percentage of them, depending on if the person's head's not hanging off, will probably chuckle to some of your silly shit and laugh, you know, under their breath, or, you know, you help people. It's a natural thing. I'm trying to sound a saint because I'm in trouble. I'm not so. Night. I'll say night. To me, this is a prime one. Night. Shut up.